Here's your friends, two of your friends, Nigel Farage and the BBC going at each other here, where Nigel Farage is being attacked by the BBC, and he's saying, best look in the mirror, pot, calling the kettle black. Let's have a listen.
The double standards and hypocrisy of the BBC are absolutely astonishing. At the time I was alleged to have made these remarks, one of your most popular weekly shows was the Black and White Minstrels, right? The BBC were very happy to use blackface. Oh, and not just in the Black and White Minstrels, you did it in It Ain't Half Hot Mum as well. And what about Alf Garnett? Do you remember what he called Marigold? Do you remember the word he used to describe Marigold on not live, but on primetime national TV? I better not repeat the word, otherwise you'll all use it and say that I used it. Homophobia? It ain't half hot, mum. Are you being served? Oh, and what about Bernard Manning? Perfectly happy at exactly the same time for Bernard Manning to appear on primetime national BBC comedy, telling jokes for which these days you'd probably get a knock at the door from our thought police and perhaps get a 31-month prison sentence. I cannot put up with the double standards of the BBC about what I'm alleged to have said 49 years ago and what you were putting out on mainstream content. So I want an apology from the BBC for virtually everything you did throughout the 1970s and 80s.
Cringy. He's sort of approving of their logic, of the sort of progressive extremist logic there, isn't he? That you should apologise for things that happened decades ago. But this is all in reaction to a very, very, very strange article written by the Guardian newspaper. It was a hit piece where the Guardian went and interviewed people that Nigel Farage was at school with when he was a teenager. So we're talking 40 years ago or something like that. And he's alleged to have said certain things that are anti-Semitic and generally sort of racist or whatever. And for some bizarre reason, this is like leading the news. And the Guardian keeps, because I have an app on my phone, they're constantly sending me like push notifications. And it's like some random guy says, "That's bad, Nigel Farage. You've got to apologise for what you did when you were 4." And it's just so strange. I mean, it's an indication that the Canadian political scene is pitiable and very low grade, but so is the British one. You know, the British are just so pathetic, and this is such a stupid, miserable waste of time that they're busying themselves with here. But I suppose Nigel Farage is obviously sick of it, and he's trying to he's doing the "no you" Spider-Man thing, isn't he? But I don't know. I feel like he's buying into their logic, though. He's kind of like saying, "Oh yeah, you should be sorry. You should say sorry for TV shows that you ran." And he's like, "Shut up, man. No, they shouldn't."
For the record, I'd like to apologize to all the people that threw me in lockers when I was a high school student and bullied me, put me in garbage cans and all that, for all the mean things I thought about you. Anyway. New York Times, breaking news. Spain, Ireland, Netherlands, and Slovenia said they're boycotting next year's Eurovision Song Contest. Like, who cares? And why was that in our budget? That's my question. Why did Canada have to put that, all the things they could put in the budget? Canada put in the budget, Carney's budget, Eurovision, that we want to be a part of Eurovision. Why? Why was that in the budget?
Just as a distraction from all of the misery included, all of the debt. They just wanted the headlines, and they got them, to be fair.
Yeah. And where is the story on CBC on the Governor General's wanting the skating rink in her private residence there? Where is that? And then wanting to use it as getting corporations that are under federal jurisdiction there to get tax receipts. Can we create things like that? You want to put a skating rink in your house there and then create a tax receipt so that you can give charitable receipts out to people and say that you're going to have underprivileged kids skate in the skating rink once every blue moon? It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How about charging them for using that thing? Is that on their tax return?
Well, they get certainly paid enough. They could pay rent, couldn't they?
Absolutely ridiculous. But hey, where is that on CBC saying this is right now in a time in Canada when we're having massive deficits? The Governor General wants a private skating rink. Private. She's going to say that they're going to use it for events. A skating rink at Rideau Hall. For what reason? Put the $8 million into another skating rink so kids can play hockey practice at a rink that matters, not something that you can, and then saying things like you want to put a roof on it for climate change. Nonsense. Just absolute nonsense. You can tell the mentality of the people that are going to buy into that. We need to get a list of those people. I need to sell them something. Tim Walz whining because people are driving by his house screaming retard out the window ever since Trump called. Let's listen to Tim. Tim, he's like our Tim. Remember, the old joke was let's get Tim to do it. He is the tool man. True.
This creates danger. And I'll tell you what, in my time on this, I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word in front of people. This is shameful. And I have yet to see an elected official, a Republican elected official, say, you're right, that's shameful. He should not say it. So look, I'm worried. We know how these things go. They start with taunts, they turn to violence. So deeply concerned.
I just want to remind Tim, was Tim not the guy calling Elon Musk a Nazi? Was that not the guy? Was he not the guy?
And Trump as well. How many things has Trump been called? Fascist? He gets called a fascist every bloody day.
Wasn't Tim Walz the guy, though, that went on stage with his phone and said every time he's got this app and every time the Tesla stock drops, he celebrates?
Yeah.
This guy.
But
is...
Trump used the R word. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could phrase it that way. Against Tim Walz. Tim Walz is now saying it goes from a name calling to violence. Who wants to go and commit violence against people based on that? That's not something that's going to motivate somebody to commit violence. However, if you call somebody a racist Nazi and you invent conspiracy theories about how they're undermining the United States, they're going to kick off a dictatorship and a military coup. Right, that's a reason to be violent against someone, isn't it? It doesn't, it does not compute. It's not good enough. But as usual from this guy, just everything about him is low grade. He's just so appalling.
Trump may have dodged a bullet. Literally dodged a bullet. America dodged a bullet. This guy could be the vice president, and Kamala Harris could be sitting next to him. It would have been great for Carney and the Liberals, because this whole green scheme would be still going on, all this stuff, and China would be laughing and rubbing its hands together. This guy has, the IQ of I don't know. Not very
P.
A P?
But he could also, bear in mind, Tim Walz, if they'd won that election, he could be president by now. Kamala Harris could have drunk herself into a coma and been incapacitated, and then Walter Wally would now be the president.
And the only reason she picked him was because she wanted a white male, because she didn't want the gay Pete Buttigieg.
Well, it was like appealing to straight white men, like the tough American male. It's like, that's the guy. He's going to do that.
That's the guy. That's the guy. This is the comedy part of the show. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Somebody says, please apologize for that last remark. Which last remark? I don't know idea. Simple website, very slow and almost unresponsive. Not sure why. Probably because the people that we reach, we drove it into that. Simple should be working. Simple, where you want to go. If it's not working right now, just maybe check your internet connection. Do a speed test. Speedtest.org on your own website. But definitely great for youth, great for people. You can get mortgages on there through Pine too now. Crazy. Absolutely great. Stephen A. Smith, and he's done with cancel culture. I like Stephen A. Smith. He's a Democrat. Listen to what Stephen A. Smith has to say.
I know up front the Republicans, or Repeticans, as I call them because of the Epstein thing, they're straight racist. I already know that. because it's a double standard. Where's the same energy?
Time out. So what we're going to do is we're going to say Republicans are racist as opposed to specific names. You're just going to call an abundance of people racist.
A blanket across the board. Republicans are straight racist.
Goodbye, man. Have a nice day. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not letting anybody on either side of the aisle castigate an entire party of people like that. I'm not doing that. That gets us nowhere. Malik, you can call back any other show. But if you have points, make your point. What if you ran across somebody?
Brett was saying my mic is intermittent. I switched mics and tell me if that helps at all. And we're almost done anyway, but sorry about that. If you notice my mic cutting out, let me know. But that's enough of that, dude. You know what I mean? A while ago, MSNBC and that would be encouraging that. CBC encourages that kind of nonsense too. Look at all the stuff that they've said against us here in Canada.
People in Congress on the Democratic side, and to be fair, the Republican side, also making these wild generalizations about what is in effect sort of tens of millions of people at least.
But it's good on Stephen Smith and saying we're not going to put up with this anymore. Buzz off, because before this would be just like, you know, like this would be just, they'd be rubbing their hands together. Oh, here's somebody that's going to talk terrible, right? And we'll look at our mics, because this is odd that these have been working well. And thanks, Joe. Keep telling us. Yeah, you know, we don't have the $1.5 billion that CBC has.
Yeah, they've got the best mics.
They've got their.
Maybe they can give us some. We can loan some.
They've got their foot on our. They've got their foot on our throat with Bill C-18. They've taken away our audience that we earned over a decade with Facebook and Instagram of over 200,000. They took that away because they said they were helping us. Thanks for the help. We could do without.
Stephen Guilbeault was on about that yesterday. Was, the press were, you know, they throw a microphone at him, and he was talking about all the money that Pascal Santonge got for journalists across Canada. There's no recognition of reality, is there?
Well, Joe, you can hit the tip jar. YouTube has a tip jar. We don't want to go fund me, but you can hit the tip jar. There is one on YouTube there. You can actually hit it. There you go. And we do have it on our site too. If you're on the bottom of all our stories, you can actually contribute to local independent journalism. There you go.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.